What we're gonna do is discuss the fraud in Florida recently.
Florida fraud.
Florida fraud because it's unfair to the good sites in Florida.
Yeah.
And I told Ludmila from Quantum LS Clinical Research, it's not fair to Florida site. If I lived in Florida and wanted to own a site, I wouldn't want to move. But welcome, Ludmila. Ludmila's brand new site, client of DSCS. We're gonna work. I'm going to go out of my way to make sure you leave with a feasibility this week.
The SIV schedule.
With the SIV schedule, we might even find a monitor here. But maybe Darshan,
Got you covered.
you want to just give like a 1 minute summary of what happened? Like,
Short version, essentially, this week we had a situation where an owner and an investigator went to jail for fraud-related issues. Was it two of them?
A&R,
Yeah.
and a lady and a guy.
Okay. Well, the owner and the investigator. So
Three.
three total people.
Yeah.
Oh.
They got the PI first. And then he cooperated with, and he said, well, these people,
But it's not the first time it's happened.
No.
And it's not even the first time
And
it's happened in
Brad
Florida.
asked, why does this always happen in Florida?
Because they have a very active DOJ that looks for
Seriously?
this stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's
So it's
always
not that the Florida sites are bad.
No, not necessarily.
Hey, there you go. You should put that on your website.
We're not all bad.
Also, it's just the
So
DOJ
you could
one.
very easily have it in Oklahoma City if the DOJ here was active in that space, or they may be active in oil, for example. But the idea here is, for example, Texas has a very active one. The Northeast has a very active one. So
California's like sleep.
I don't know what California's is, to be honest.
Arizona,
Yeah. Arizona, you barely have any laws.
they're
But
like in a saloon.
so the idea was in
Keep 'em there.
2021, the Department of Justice came out and they said, we're going after clinical trials. We want you to know we are targeting clinical research. And since then, every year you're seeing 2, 3, 4 people going to jail over research fraud issues. That's just going to jail part of it. Then you have research integrity and research fraud issues. So if you look at ORI, Office of Research Integrity, which is different from the FDA, you'll see fraud issues there.
Okay.
So this goes into data falsification, data integrity issues. You'll see all your big name universities. So you'll see your Harvards, you'll see your Cornells, you'll see your UPenns, all in there. And you'll see doctors there targeted for research fraud. Then you'll see FDA, which is looking at your 483s, your SOP non-compliance, your GCPs, all that stuff. And then you'll look at OIG, Office of Inspector General. Are you paying the doctors not because they're doing research, but because you actually want to give them a kickback? So when people talk about research fraud, what they think they're talking about is FDA. This is just your first set. Then you get into issues of research privacy, and that's ORI. OCR, Office of Civil Rights. They look at privacy fraud issues. So
This guy's too good.
Yeah.
He gets everybody scared, man.
Well, that's good because that way we can.
do you know what he calls me?
Practice and
He calls me Baba Yaga.
Papa Yaga from, what's that movie?
John Wick. It's who you call when you want to scare the boogeyman.
I wanted to. I heard him earlier. I'm like, what do you mean by that? So you have different aspects of people auditing sites.
Yeah.
One, it's more in the clinical medical part.
Quality. So
Quality.
FDA is looking at quality.
Okay.
ORI is looking at research integrity. OIG is looking at payments. DOJ is looking at overall fraud issues and justice, if you will.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, because from the clinical side, you worry about malpractice, right? So you practice by the standards, you follow the protocols.
Now, if you can
follow
tell
the
me what
guidelines.
practice of medicine is, we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So there's no standard there either, is the point I'm making.
Yeah. So here is more. That's why you mentioned quality. Remark
Yes.
quality. So
Yes.
follow the SOP that we just talked
Exactly.
about.
Exactly.
Follow the protocol that we
Yes.
have. Interesting. Okay. Good. Because speaking from a provider,
Yeah.
we come with the provider mindset,
Yeah.
not the research mindset.
Right.
Yeah. And this is good, and especially for sites that
Yeah.
we have to take care of these things. We have to pay a lot of attention because then people can end up in
all kinds of trouble. Now, here's the funny thing that you just mentioned. I had a client that came through. I don't know if I think you sent him to me. a long time ago. I'm talking about 10 years ago. He was I would have to guess he was at least a centimillionaire, if not a billionaire.
Oh wow.
And I remember because the situation was, he was like, I need to do blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, you can't do that. You need IRB approval. You need a sponsor.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, yeah. I was like, it's really expensive. He's like, how expensive? A few $1,000,000? He's like, that's fine. Keep going. It's just like, oh, wait, what just happened? And the reason I'm saying that is because, like, it was a non-factor. When you realize
I
that,
remember this person.
yeah.
Was it Dan Sfera? Actually,
No, Dan Safara just owns sports teams.
yeah.
The thunder is right there.
Oh, there we go.
But the reason I say that is because we then got into, he wanted to treat a small group of people, a small family of people. And in that scenario, the question is it still research or is it the practice of medicine? Because if you're doing it in that scenario, you don't need to follow a protocol. You can just do whatever you want. But otherwise, you need to have a protocol. If you don't have a protocol, you have research fraud issues again. Or you might be looking at scenarios where you're actually doing the research and you're not tracking anything. In which case, it might be a seeding trial. Do you know what a seeding trial is?
When you go through like grand jury.
No.
I
No, seeding trial is Dr. Smith is a high prescriber. I want to keep Dr. Smith happy. I don't actually care if he does any research for me, but I need to pay him for something. So why don't I give Dr. Smith $10,000 for 10 patients? So I'm giving him $100,000. I don't actually care what the results are. And that used to happen a lot, slowed down a lot. But that'd be another type of research fraud. So you've got to have steps and checks and balances.
Yeah.
So research goes into practice of medicine issues, goes into actual research issues. Then what level of research are we talking about? So you've got to do an analysis. As a site owner, what you're looking out for is, your big thing is quality. But every time people are arguing over things like, oh, I'm not being paid enough, that's when you start thinking about, okay, I'm not being paid enough for what? If I get paid too much, is that a kickback in some way? Is that a seeding trial in some way? And those are the things you need to start thinking about.
See, Darshan's got ways to do it, and Ludmila, like, we've got to discuss. First of all, I've never heard that explanation as to why this happens so much in Florida.
Yeah,
it's like a very reasonable one.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought of it. Thank you for that. Absolutely. And you know that for a fact?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But so for someone like Quantum, LS, like, that's just starting out, you're doing the right thing by coming here. We'll get you some studies, but, like, what do you think is the reason for this kind of behavior in Florida? Like, just from what you've observed so far.
What I believe is not all sites are the same, but there are a lot of entrepreneurs entering into the clinical research site with a different set of mind. And that's what's bringing those type of issues into the industry. In our case, we want to make things the right way. We want to work with integrity, and that's what we want to bring to Florida. We want to bring to our community, and we're striving for that. We're brand new. We think our steps are going on the right direction. We're joining the right group of people that
And it's
can
not
give
fair
us.
to the sites in Florida that are doing the right thing.
Yes, and there's a lot of sites that do the right thing, and the image that the sites that don't do the right thing are creating is encompassing the good work that the other sites are
I
doing.
had a business partner from Texas, not too far from here, Darshan, that said they're pissing in the water we all drink from.
Oh, I like that line.
That's a Texas phrase, but it's very accurate to what's happening in Florida. What final advice? Because I think I have to get on stage.
Yeah.
For site owners like Ludmila in Florida, brand new, so remember the cost conscious.
Very simple. If you are doing it, what would be best for the patient? Ignore the rest of it. What a patient's looking for is quality. So how do you ensure quality? You make sure that whatever you do is standardized. So the SOPs we were talking about earlier, make sure you have SOPs that are right for you. And everything else will fall into line. If you try to do the right thing, and I'm not talking about right thing for you.
No,
and
it's the right thing
for the patient.
patient.
Everything else lands up in place. Now, the clarity lands up being in, and this is where he gives me the name Baba Yaga, but the right thing, often the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you have to be careful about doing the right thing for the right reasons, and then hoping there's an additional catch in there. So if you start doing things like health clinics so that you can get recruitment from it, are you doing it for the patients or are you doing it for you? Does that become an inducement? Does that include bias? That's just an example of, you might say it is the right thing, and probably is, but why are you doing it is the wrong reason. And that can come back to bite you.
Thank you. Thank you for the advice.
Absolutely.
That's it. You got any more questions for Baba Yaga?
No, just thank you for all the info. Speaking probably for research too, and whenever we're studying, I'm a nurse practitioner, school, you don't go much into the legal part of it. So we're naive, very naive. We just know we have to follow our GCP, Alcoa, SOP, protocol.
So I went to pharmacy school. I have a doctorate in pharmacy.
Oh, there you go.
And I believe me, we didn't learn anything about research.
Nothing.
So,
Nothing.
no.
And not even the legal. So just, protect yourself. Yeah, but how? And
Right.
this is great. Like getting out to all the sites, like even the ones that are experienced, we can always improve. And anyway, so
Exactly.
so thanks for that. And then
There's always room for improvement.
yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you.
Thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Good luck. We will get you a study. Hey, if you guys like that kind of content, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos.